There we go. That can be our screenshot.
Anyways.
Hello, people of the internet. Apparently borrowing that from Tyler Ward today.
I meant to do a peace sign, but I only put one finger up.
That's basically how this video is gonna go. So we frequently talk about the stupid things that we do during exams or that like happen during exams.
Yeah.
And we're gonna share them with you because they're pretty good.
Especially since exam season just ended.
Woohoo! Woo! So yeah, we'll just get right into that because we could waste a lot of time not doing it.
Yeah. Alright, weird exam stories. I can tell you one that you don't know yet, but you will really appreciate. Okay, so a lot of my exams are actually done in class. They just use the last lecture for the exam, which means we write it in our classes. And because I am a film specialist, all of my classes are like theaters for that, okay? So the seats are really comfortable and like they're theater seats, basically. So there was one day I was running this exam and I was sitting there and I mean like I needed to do this or my butt was gonna explode, but it was gonna explode anyway. I had to fart so bad that like, and I didn't want to like get up and ask to go to the washroom because that means the TA would have to accompany me to the washroom and then they'd just hear me fart in the stall and it would be a mess. So I was like, oh my god, how am I gonna do this? Because you know, when you have to fart that bad, it can go one of two ways. It's either gonna be completely silent or it's gonna be explosive. But the benefit to the location was the padded seats, right? So the cushion,
better than like a plastic chair.
Exactly. So like the cushion like absorbed the sound of the fart, so I just kind of let it out like really slow. It ended up stinking a little bit.
No one can ever
But no one will ever know that it was me.
Well, they will now.
Yeah.
This kind of relates. It never ended up happening. Right before Hot Prof's exam, Nicole and I decided we should eat burrito bowls for lunch. And then we're like, oh my god, what if we have to fart during the exam? So then we were discussing hypotheticals of like, you ask to go to the bathroom and you get escorted to the bathroom. I've never left during an exam. Like in all of my exams, I never left. So we're like, what if they escort you and you're literally just leaving to fart? Are you gonna say like, I'm not cheating and I'm not going to the bathroom, like I'm just gonna fart. Please don't come inside, it might stink. Or do you just let them come in with you and you do it? Or do you fart in class and be embarrassed for the rest of your life because the hot prof heard you fart and potentially smelt it? And we're sitting in the front row, so like there's no hiding.
Yeah. This is a story from my very last exam from this term, and this isn't my story actually. So this is Dan's story. So Dan, if you see this, I'm sharing your story with you for you. So Dan was actually sitting, like you know how they seat you one away from it. So he was sitting one away from me against the wall. I was kind of sitting in the middle of the row, and we were sitting in the second row back, but there was like a space of two right in front of him. This is important. Out of the corner of my eye, I see Dan raise his hand. So I see the professor come over, and this is the hot prof. I kind of shift my paper, and in shifting my papers, I ended up turning more towards where Dan was sitting, so I witnessed this entire interaction go down. So the prof comes over, and Dan kind of leans in, and he's like, I'm not cheating, I just really need to get something out of my backpack. And the professor was like, I'll supervise you.
Sounds dirty.
Right?
Oh, yeah.
So Dan gets something out of his bag. I don't know what it was, but like I started to laugh because I'm sitting there. I'm just like, what just happened? That was like the weirdest interaction I've ever seen. The prof's just like leaning against the wall with his arms crossed, kind of like surveying the room.
This is something I did on an exam, and this one was this year. The prof gave us a study guide, and those questions were going to be on there. We just didn't know which ones. And he gave us 3 questions. I really knew question number 1. Like I did a study group, and they were like, I really don't get it. Can someone explain? I was like, give me 5 minutes. I'm gonna go shower, and then I'll do it. Within 2 minutes of sitting in front of my computer, I had spewed out the most beautiful essay outline of all time because I knew that question. The exam day comes, and he didn't pick that question. Of course, he picked questions 2 and 3. I did not know how to answer number 3 at all, so I picked number 2. But basically the whole thing was just tying it to question 1 because I really wanted to answer that, and I was mad at him for not picking it.
There was one, this was last term, sci-fi lit. In the second half of the class, we read 3 full novels. So the last, like the final exam was going to be tested on those. But of those 3 novels, I had only read 1. I turn over my exam sheet, and lo and behold, the question is for the one book that I knew all about. So I was sitting there like, great, I have no idea what the hell I'm gonna write about this. There was one short answer question on the front of the page that kind of alluded to something that happened in that book, so I took that and I ran with it.
This is something I did. I think it's hilarious. So I took world religions, and our midterm, we had a bunch of definitions. I think we had to explain them. There was some matching, but I think for some reason on this one we had to actually like define them ourselves and like explain their significance. So there was this one word that I had no idea what it meant, but I knew what the two words in it meant. The word was Omkara, and Om is like a thing you chant while meditating, and Kara is like a steel bracelet. So like they're probably not even from the same religion, but I used them to explain this term. I still don't know what it means because I never bothered to go back and look because the story is just funny without it.
There was on my Earth Sci exam, so it was what wins, lava or pop? A, lava, B, pop, C, climate change, or D, Justin Trudeau.
During my stats final exam, like that was just a bad time. After the midterm, it gets so hard that you don't know what's going on, and then the final is just like a mind explosion. That was the first exam I ever took the full 3 hours to write. I sat there for the first 2.5 hours answering like 10 out of the 40 questions, being like, I can't answer the rest. So I was just kind of sitting there trying to think, how am I gonna manage this? They put weird tablecloth things on the floor in the gym for exams so it doesn't scratch the floor. And he tripped on the tablecloth. And like he was a very socially awkward man, and I had a huge crush on him because he was beautiful and he was Greek and he had like a cute Greek accent. And I burst out laughing when he tripped because what else am I supposed to do?
Oh,
and he definitely heard me. I see him around campus now and he has no idea who I am.
My one prof scared the bejesus out of the entire class in the exam because it was like everyone was focused on their exam papers and there was absolutely no noise at all in the exam center. And then all of a sudden all you hear is, okay everybody, like from the center of the room, and nobody had seen him come in. Literally everybody flew like 2 feet off their seats and just started to laugh, and he was just standing there like, I'm so sorry, I should have announced myself before I started like yelling at you.
So those are our weird, awkward, random exam stories. In the comments below, let us know your weird exam or test or whatever stories, and we'll comment back and chat about them because it's fun to talk about weird things that you've done.
Yes.
And I guess we will just see you next time we do a video.
Ooh.
Bye!
Bye! I look like I'm grabbing boobs.